Hi. Okay, so today's plan is to explain how this little creature works. Um, I would say it's very simple, but you see all of this? Yeah. Um, so what we got here is we're gonna need a world constraint. We're gonna need a spring joint. We're gonna need two of those. Um, I spelled it wrong. We're gonna need a couple of parent constraints, of course, um, and a look at constraint. Only one of those. Um, and that should be it. So in this video, you'll learn about all four of these things. And it's not as hard as it looks. You just need to understand how each component behaves. So for example, if I open a new scene, if I create a new scene with a cube and a sphere, see, if I add a parent constraint that goes from this cube to my sphere, and then I activate it. In VR chat, when you toggle off and then on a parent constraint, it teleports to the position of the sphere. So it's gonna, oh, there we go. It's gonna do this. It's gonna go straight on the sphere. And since, yeah, it's gonna do this. It's gonna do as if you press 0. Um, Way simpler. It's because of the constraint settings here that it went back. That's how you can play with that. Um, so what that means is after that, if you do a world constraint, you do a little empty. Okay, it's spelled wrong. I'm gonna make a folder for this. Okay, so you just make an empty object, put it at 0, and then make it a prefab. And then what you can do is cube. Okay. Add a parent constraint to your root object. It doesn't have to be a cube. Usually it's an empty object. Um, then you add a constraint to the world constraint, and you activate it. So what this does is, if I go here, since there's a parent constraint, I can't move it. But if I add, for example, a sphere again, and I'll make it slightly bigger so that we can see it. So, and then if I put the cube in the sphere, okay, I'm just gonna put this at 0. Same for the, oh, of course. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I got both my object at 0 in the world space. Now, if I move the sphere, it works. If I move the cube, it doesn't. I can drag and drop the cube under the sphere, and then you'll notice that the cube doesn't follow. But if I disable this, now it does. So the world constraint is a way to detach an object from your avatar. You basically make just an object that's just somewhere in the world that's never going to move, and you make a parent constraint to it. Um, And that's how your parent constraint works. Now, if I do this setup again, but like the right way, um, this would be your avatar, and then under the avatar, you do a world constraint object, and then you would do in this a container, and then you would put in the container the parent constraint. So now what this means is that I have my avatar, the world constraint object, and then a container. So if we check in the Minawii, here I have the world container, world constraint, and this would be the, no, this is the container, okay. Yeah, this is the container, as you see, world constraint. So if I open paint, for example, I got my avatar here, beautiful, and then my Minawii right here. So if my avatar goes here, I want the Minawii to go over here, but it needs to be smooth, and it needs to like follow the avatar, if you know what I mean. So the way you do that is if I go back into tutorial, I'm gonna create an avatar and then just put a cube in it just to so we see what it is. It's gonna be a capsule, and then I'm gonna put a cube, which is gonna be our little follower. Actually, no, I'm gonna make an empty object and then um, mesh. Okay. So first of all, when you make stuff like this with basic shapes, it's always gonna make colliders. Remove them all, or else it's gonna break everything. Now, next thing you want to do is on the follower, add component parent constraint. Just before that, I'm gonna okay, and then on the follower, you go back here, you add the world constraint, activate it 0, and yeah, okay, that's good. So okay, and then on your mesh thing, just gonna container mesh container. And inside of this, you're gonna put everything related to like the visual aspect of your avatar, of your follower, sorry. So anything that is like light sources, particle effects, mesh renderers, anything like that is gonna go under this. So if I remove whatever this is to turn it into an empty object, and then under this I add my actual follower. Yeah, okay, sure. Let's make it a sphere. I'll make it slightly bigger so that it pops out. Okay, so this would be your mesh, for example. Follower mesh. I should keep the same nomenclature. Okay. Follower.mesh. Okay, so what you want to do in the container is add a rigid body and a spring joint. You disable use gravity, you I think, and none of that is important. You put 2 on drag, and the other things, you can mess with them later. And then here you need a connected body. Your connected body needs to be on your avatar, so you can create an empty game object under the follower root object and call it Springjoint.target. And then you just give it a rigid body but no spring joint. And then you lock every position, give it no gravity, and don't touch anything else. So this needs to be the well constraint. I'm gonna call it container. And follower root so that I understand what I'm doing. Well container, give it a parent constraint. Give it the well constraint I made you do earlier, activate it, zero it, and now it's a little clearer. So here, you got your avatar, you got your armature, I guess, and then I'm gonna just add something to some bones. So this is your avatar. These two things are your avatar, and then this is going to be your follower. Follower.root is going to contain everything that doesn't have to be like under the world constraint, basically. So here we want to put the spring joint target because we want the follower to follow the avatar, right? Um, and then we got the world container. That's where you put everything that's gonna be contained in the world space. So you got the world constraint here, and then the mesh container. Mesh container is the spring joint itself. So I think just like that it should work. Okay, uh-huh. Oh, that's why. Okay. In your mesh container, you put the spring joint the target. Yeah, that's why it didn't work. I'm stupid. So now it follows your avatar, but it does it in a very janky way. So what you want to do to tweak with that is basically do just like if it was a fishbone. So you're gonna mess with these settings and maybe the drag. You can like make the spring lower, make the damper higher, and see how that looks. See, that's already more follower-y, right? Okay, so if you want my settings, here, spring 5, damper 10. I'm gonna copy component and then paste it in here. It's very simple so far. So you got your avatar, you got your armature, and then you got your follower itself. The follower has the world container and the spring joint target. The world container has your mesh container. Your mesh container has everything follower related. Next thing you want to add is, hold on, I'm gonna put a cube in here. Yeah, I'll make this a cube because of later. What you want to do next to make it more like my asset, you can add a look at constraint. I think on this, and you make it, you could put it on the spring joint target, but I think it's better if you put it on your avatar armature. You put the armature in your source right here, and then you activate it. And then what that does is it makes your cube look at your player non-stop. But it's very robotic looking. So when you move fast, it just always looks at you. And then sometimes it can do drift like this. So, you know, if you're making a car, this could be like a good thing, but I guess not for everything. So the way you fix that is not it's you do another spring joint. So basically, you want to add a an empty object in your mesh container, and you call it look at dot smoother. You put it forward, and then in your mesh container, you make it look at this, if I remember correctly. I actually don't remember. No, okay, yeah, your look at needs to be in the world container. And then you put it like, okay, yeah, it's slightly in front. You need to put it like slightly in front, and then you add a rigid body and a spring joint. You remove gravity. You go in spring joint. Oh, right, damping first. 2 of damping. You can give it the same settings, like the exact same, so that it moves the exact same as the other one. So I'm gonna put 5, 10. And then for the connected body, you're gonna put it, oh, right. This needs to be at 0. And then you create a new spring joint target, except now it's gonna be look at target. Whoops, target. Yeah, look at target. And where is the front? Okay, let's say front is red arrow. You're gonna make it look, you're gonna make it like be a little forward, and then you're gonna add a rigid body. Lock all the axis and remove gravity. Okay, sorry. Um, so yeah, you make your look at target slightly forward, and then in your world container, your look at smoother, you can put this right there. I think it's a good idea to initiate it at the good position already. So I'm gonna do that. The way you copy a position, you just drag it under and then you put the position to 0. And then you can drag it back in world container. And then mesh container, you put it on look at smoother. So this should be good if I'm correct. Okay, it does not work. Oh, maybe, oh, it's because it needs to be spring, it needs to go faster. So I'm gonna make it be maybe 10 here. Yeah, see, there's a little delay in the in the way it looks at you. And what that also does is that when it gets close to you, it kind of just like parks itself. It's really weird, and it's I don't know, I like it. So you have like 2 spring joints, and your follower is always gonna look at the spring joint that goes faster. I'm gonna make mine a little faster. I don't know. It's really up to you, but in my opinion, using the smoother really makes it look better. Okay, so that's that. That's the look at smoother. Did I have anything else? Because I did the world constraint, I did the 2 spring joints, I did the look at constraint, and yeah, okay, I think I'm done. The other thing I wanted to show you is how it works on the Minawii to like make it walk. Um, so here, my Minawii is made the exact same way I just showed you. So you got the follower root, the world container, and then it's a little janky here because I didn't like make a bone here, but like the Minawii prefab root bone is my um follower root thing. And then under here I got all the visuals. If I enable, I put a contact thing. Oh, it's gonna be in here, right? Walk detector. So walk detector, you make it follow your uh, follower's armature, and then when it moves, it's gonna move around like and stay at its feet, and that's normal because after that you got a walk sender, and it's parented to Minawii by Nola. Yeah, there you can parent it to your avatar skeleton or your avatar root here. Mine is the Nova Beast. Because the whole point is that it stays exactly where your follower is supposed to end up. So if I look really close, you see it's very small, but it's exactly where this one is. And then what you do is whenever this thing is not inside the smaller one, you play the walk animation, and it's as simple as that. So here, um, Minawii walk triggers Nola Minawii contacts walk. If I go in the animator in the states, um, here it goes from what is it? From walk 0 to, oh shit, I'm in the, yeah, okay. So when it enters, it goes in idle, and then if the contact is triggered, it's gonna look if it's not laying down or if it's not being head patted, and then it's gonna go into the walk animation, and then it's gonna loop in the animation until it's done walking. I just realized there's something else that I didn't do yet. The world container has a position holder if you look at closely. Um, that's because my parent constraint has two things. Has the spring joint script. Yeah, I named them weirdly. Also, my names are all shuffled-ish. Yeah, why why did I call it contacts dot receiver and then contacts dash sender? Okay, I'm weird. Um, but yeah, it goes from spring joint script to position holder. So what you want to do is when you want your follower to stop following you, for example, my Minawi can lay down, right? To make it lay down and like not stop moving, you need to stop the spring joint and parent the the Minawi to the world. And you can't just turn off a spring joint script. What you do is just you enable a parent constraint that goes to your follower's last position. So this is used to always go towards the Minawi. So wherever the Minawi goes, that's going to be where the Minawii is. And then as soon as it needs to lay down, it turns off the parent constraint script. And then on the Minawii, I change this to 0 and this to 1 so that the Minawii teleports to its last position and it doesn't move. And doing that makes it so that your spring joint will not work like at all. So what you want to do is move your spring joint script out of your Minawi, and then you parent your Minawi to the uh, outer spring joint script. And I can do a little demonstration for that. So if I go in this thing, in a world container, I add a position holder. And then I do the exact same thing. I drag and drop the mesh container, activate 0. And then I need a spring joint script and then rigid body, remove the gravity, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then spring joint. You put 5, 10 because this is your follower, not your lookat constraint. And then in your mesh container, I didn't remove it in the other ones, I'm not going to remove it here. To parent constraint, you add two sources. The first one needs to be the spring joint script, and the second one the position holder. You put the position holder to 0, and then you activate it. And then you're gonna need to animate it, which I'm not gonna do here, but I'm still gonna show you what it's supposed to do. So normally it still works. No, it doesn't. Oh wait, it's because of this. I'm stupid. It's not our target, it's just a spring joint. Okay. What? Oh, it's because it has no damping? No. Oh shit, because of this. I'm so stupid. Okay. Connected body. You need to put the what was it? Spring joint target. Oh yeah, I'm stupid. Okay, no, there's two. I think this should not have. Oh, I think this should not have that. Okay, now it works. Okay, it's back to normal, except this time it's using parent constraints. The mesh container is not the rigid body. The rigid body is another thing completely. But it constantly goes to the position of the spring joint, so it's fine. And then what you want to do to like keep it in place is first of all, in your animation, you're gonna do everything at once. You're gonna look at your position holder. You're gonna toggle this off, and then in here you're gonna invert the values. So 0 and then 1, and then when you move your avatar, it stays in place, but it still looks at you. And to do that, you can also lock the lookat smoother, or I think, oh, you can just also toggle off the lookat constraint. So yeah, that's it. I think that's all for that. Um, yeah, I think I'm done. That's it. And I somehow made it simpler than the other thing. Uh, but yeah, mesh container does not need a spring joint. I think I can remove it from my Minawii. Alright, thank you for watching everyone. I hope you understood. If you have any more questions, I'll just ask it in the comments and I'll try to answer. Or else you can join my Discord server, and there's a way better likely chance that I'll answer you there. I'll try to link it in the description, or else it's very easy to find on my Go mode. Bye bye!